So I want to talk about my experience being an RBT, a registered behavior technician. So um, I don't like this. I gotta cut that one. So I think it was 2 years ago. I was working at Target, and a company reached out to me on Indeed that I didn't even remember applying to. And I guess the HR person, he was like, do you have any babysitting experience, or like have you worked with children before? And I was like, yeah, like I babysat like my cousin. And they were like, okay. So they sent me the offer letter like literally the same day, while I was at work, and they told me how much I'll be getting paid. And I was like, whoa. I was only making minimum wage at the time, so making pretty much double minimum wage. I was like, I will take the job, I will take the position. So what happened? I think I was still working at Target, and then they told me that I needed to do the 40-hour training. But I don't know if it was because of the time that like I joined the company or whatever, but like, because like I don't know if like at like one time they like select a bunch of people to put through the program, or if it's just like, whoever comes, they just enter the program at that time. But at the time, we had to do the 40-hour training. Oh shit. But I only had a week to complete it. And so the whole like, it's like this website, and then like once you finish one and you do all the tests and you get a good score, then you can go into the next one. And so I had a week to do it, and I was studying my ass off. I was like, because like I've never studied like that, not even for school. I never had to really study for school, because when I paid attention in class, I understood, what I was supposed to be doing. So I never really had to study. When it came to tests, I usually got B, C, sometimes I got A's, but like I could have studied, because I could have got better grades, but I didn't study. But my grades are pretty average. So this was the first time where I really had to study and try to retain information, because this is stuff I've never even heard about. And they were talking about, what was it that really stumped me? It was the data taking. It was like the difference between partial interval data, frequency, and different types of like data collection. And those I struggled with. But I did training. I took a lot of notes. I would pretty much like watch a video and then like pretty much transcribe everything that I heard, because for some reason, like hearing it and then writing it down helped me in some way. I don't know why, but I went to the test taking place, and in the place, it took so long to get into the room because there were so many people there that weren't for the same test I was taking. They were taking different tests. But you go into the room, you sit at a computer, and like they have like decibel thingies, like they could monitor the loudness in the room. And I'm like, fuck, if you fart in here, they're gonna fucking kick you out. Like, it was so serious. It was like, you don't make no noise. If you do this, your test is gonna be taken away. And so it only took me like 30 minutes maybe to do the test. And then afterward, I think I just left the room. And they don't tell you if you passed or not on the computer. So it's like, you don't know until they hand you that piece of paper. And so when the guy handed me the paper, he fucking handed it to me like, he was like, he flipped it over. He handed it to me like this. And I'm like, so I flip it over, and it's like, congratulations. I was so happy that day, because that was the first time I ever like put effort into something that I really wanted, and I succeeded. And it was so crazy because while I was taking the test, all I kept thinking was, this is going to be wrong. This is going to be wrong. That's going to be wrong. I don't know this. So I truly, and I can say I don't know how I passed, but I passed because I did study. I didn't know enough. I don't think I got any of them wrong. I think I only got like one question wrong. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if they tell you how many you got wrong, but I feel like I remember seeing something and it was like your score or whatever. Maybe I'm making it up, but I think I got like one question wrong. And after that, I got my credentials so that I could officially become an RBT, because the company, they let you work with the client before you finished your exam and got your credentials, but you needed to get it within like a certain amount of time. So I did that, and then I was able to work with my client. And the first client I got, the first day working with them, I had a care coordinator, and she met me there while I was on the first day. And, you know, and this is the thing, I'm like, she set me up for failure because she showed me how she did things, not necessarily how the company was supposed to do things. So she, you know, because she had been working long, you know, she wasn't as like it was supposed to. Like when I was taking my session notes, she'd be like, oh, just click this and then click that and then click this. And I'm like, what do these things mean? I don't know. So like, you know, I had her, and then it was like for pretty much half of a year, I took session notes and I took data how she was showing me, only to find out that that was not correct and I wasn't doing it the right way. And I felt so bad because I'm like, I didn't know. And but the first client I got, they were a sweetheart. They were this kid, you wouldn't even think he was, I said it. This kid, you wouldn't even think they were autistic. They were like normal. Like, you know, when I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna say that the first client I got, he was an angel. I didn't understand why he had an autism diagnosis, because I didn't see anything that indicated any developmental deficits. He was just a normal kid. You know, he liked what he liked. But as I started working with him, you know, I started to notice different things, but I'm like, they are developmental. Like when your parent, like my mom, I was one of those kids. My mom would get so irritated because she's like, I always have to repeat myself to you. I always have to tell you and stay on you, and you won't do it unless I do. And he was kind of the same way, like, you know, with his homework, you know, with his responsibilities, the way that he reacted to the way that he reacted when he got in trouble, he would just break down and cry. Like the second that, you know, his mom is like, oh, you're not supposed to be doing this or whatever, he would like immediately cower and cry. And they thought that that was something wrong. Like the way that they treated him for crying, I'm like, dude, he's just crying. Like he's crying because he's in trouble. And I feel like that was a normal response. So for the most part, you know, I worked with him for a while. He ended up being discharged because there was a significant decrease in behaviors. You know, before I started working with him, his parents were saying that he was non-vocal until he was 4 years old. I didn't know that until like 9 months into working with him. So, you know, like he was an angel though. Like I literally came, we played games, you know, I took data, I tried to run goals on him. But the thing is, once you learn all you do in the training, it's like, okay, you learn these things, but how are these things actually applicable? And nobody really, you know, demonstrated. Nobody really was like, oh, let me help you understand. I didn't know really what questions to ask. I just felt, but I didn't know to ask the questions because I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. And so that was that. I ended up getting like 4 different supervisors while working with this client. They kept changing them. And the last supervisor I ended up getting, she was definitely I look so stupid. She was definitely a by the books type of supervisor. She sounded very educated, like she studied very well. And of course she did because of the position she has. But I liked her because I could ask her questions and she had real responses to them. And when she gave me a response, I would go and like research. And I think she saw that I had a real desire to learn. But she came onto the team, and then she's the one who felt like he should be discharged, so I didn't get to work with her long. But I had a good relationship with her, but she was very on my ass, like making sure I was doing things correctly. And then my other client, I got him later. I think I've been working with him for a year now. And he was the first. No, let me back it up because I'm going too fast. So when I got confident working with my one client, my first client, I thought that not all cases were going to be like that, but I'm like, he isn't any problem, so let me take the experience I have, apply to another company. And so at this company, I'm going to tell you, that person, the employer, was offering $28 an hour. So I was like, of course I'm going to jump on that. So I applied to the company, sent in the paperwork, did everything that I had to do, and she assigned me to a client. But this was the first client I worked with who was non-vocal. And because she was smaller, it required more physical effort when working with her. But she was a sweet little girl. She's a beautiful little girl. But her mom would talk about like different behaviors she had. And she told me one time that the mom had lost her mind because she was walking around the house trying to find her daughter, calling around, and her daughter wouldn't respond. And so I don't know if she said she called the police, but I think she said that she was on the phone calling somebody, and all of a sudden the little girl pops out of a cabinet and she was like hiding. So I like the family. And the best part about working in this field is the families. It's like the way that they treat you, because they know that you're there to help, and they want to make you feel comfortable. They want to make you feel like you're welcome. And that's all I felt. I've never had to work with a family where I felt uncomfortable. Well, I'm not going to say that. Where I felt like I was not welcome, where I felt like I wasn't being respected. Like, I've never had those issues. I've always felt very welcome. My first client, his mom, she would make me a plate for dinner. Like, when they all sat down to eat dinner, she would make me a plate. And they weren't from the same culture as me, so it was nice to be able to be in another culture's household, see how things work, see how things run. And so I'm very thankful for the experience. And it was a very sad day on my last day with him. But anyway, so I got my second client, and I had no idea what to do. The boss was kind of like, here's some supplies, this is what you do, peace out. And I guess what she wanted was somebody who was very experienced and already kind of knew how things were going, how things were run. And she didn't want to have to supervise me pretty much. She didn't want to have to do that. And she ended up firing me. But it was so weird how she fired me, because one day I was telling her that I was out of my medication and that I needed to figure out how to get back on that. And so I needed the day to take off to get that sorted out. And so she goes, okay, take your time. And so the next day I'm headed to work, and she calls me and she's like, oh, I'm discharging you, or like I'm dropping you. You don't have to go to work. I have somebody else coming there already. Bye. And so she fired me. And, she didn't really say why, but I'm guessing it's because she wanted somebody with more experience if she was going to be paying them that much. But the lady who was the employer, she was the BCAB. She owned the company. So she started the company and hired RBTs. And so, I can understand being a liability. Like, you have somebody on your team who isn't really seasoned, and you don't want to have, I can understand that. So, I miss the family. The mom even called me like a couple days later and was like, what happened? Like, why aren't you here? And I'm like, well, she fired me. And the mom was like, oh, I didn't even know she fired you. Like, so she felt like I should have went to court or something to sue her. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing all that. So I get another client, with the company I'm already working at, because I applied to another company. So the client the company I'm already working for, they give me the opportunity to work with another client. And now this is the second nonverbal kiddo that I'm working with. And he was totally, totally different. The cutest little boy, cutest family, most beautiful family, little chubby babies. Like, they have my heart. And he was very vocal. He made a lot of noises, made a lot of sounds, but his language wasn't functional. And pretty much I've been working with him for a year. And it's crazy because I've been feeling like, I want to say from like July of last year to December of last year. So from July to December of last year, I literally every single day going to work, I would feel dread. I would literally feel like I do not want to go to work. I do not want to be here. And it made me sad because I love my job. But the thing is, I had no idea what I was doing. And I felt like unmotivated, like going into work and then having this expectation where, like, I don't know, I just feel like there was a lot expected from me, but I didn't know how to meet that standard. And so it made me feel like I shouldn't show up in the first place. And so, that time was hard. But then I changed supervisors, and I got a new supervisor in December. And this supervisor, he has been a gift, truly a gift, because he's the first supervisor who is like, oh, let me model it for you. Let me show you how to do it. Do you have any questions? If you do have questions, tell me to slow down, because I'm gonna explain things to you. I'm gonna send you resources. And, he followed through. It was like, I would ask my other supervisors when they came for supervision, I'd be like, oh, can you show me? And somehow they would never end up showing me. We would go the whole session and it would be forgotten about or whatever. But this guy, he's just been modeling to me. And, he said something to me, one of the first times he supervised me. He was like, do not touch him. Do not fully physical prompt him, because you need to ask for consent. You are just like, what I like. So, what I would be doing is getting him to sit in the chair at the table. And so he knows how to do that. He's done it before. But I would say, okay, come sit at the table. And he would just lay in the floor. And so what I would do is I would grab his arms and like pull him up off the floor. And then we would walk over to the table. And my supervisor was like, don't do that. Do not touch him. Don't pull him. It's different if he's laying on the floor and you offer your hands like this, like you need help. It's different. But for me to take him and pull him, And so when he said that, it made me have to think about how to get him to comply without physically making him do that. And so it sounds bad, but and so now I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I can't touch him. I can't, move him without him agreeing to it. So, how can I get him to sit in his chair? And so he was like, when in doubt, wait it out. And so, that's what I did. I said, come sit in the chair. He didn't want to sit in the chair. He laid there on the floor. And, he would he would kick around toys on the floor. So what I did was I moved everything out of the space, everything that he could touch, every single thing, so that he was literally just laying on the floor, nothing there. And, I waited and I repeated, what I said, come sit in the chair. And I tapped on it. And, he knows what I'm asking him to do. But, he's being non-compliant. He's choosing not to follow through. And he's whining at some points. He's just refusing. And so the point is, you're going to listen, because there's nothing else that you can do right now. You cannot play right now. You cannot jump right now. You can't do nothing but sit in this chair. And so we waited. I think it took like 3-4 minutes for him to finally get up and choose to go sit in the chair. And it looked like at one point I was even standing over him, offering my hands, and he would try to like kick me, and he would smile and act like it was a game. And so when he did that, I just walked away. And my supervisor got to be there, and he got to see the whole thing like the whole thing happened. But eventually he did get up and sit in the chair. And I felt even more proud because I didn't have to, use my emotions. Because like when he is being non-compliant, I do get irritated. I'm like, you know how to do this. You know what the drill is. We go and sit at the table. You know you cannot play 24 hours of the day. You need to follow directions. So it's like, it would irritate me. And so I would be a little bit more aggressive when dealing with him. And it's like now, I don't even need to get my emotions involved. I'm literally just waiting for him to follow through. And I will remove everything and block him from moving until he goes and sits in the chair. And it's just a lot better. Like he has been teaching me little nuggets, giving me little nuggets of information that have been very helpful. And when I apply them, they work. And he has literally brought life back into my work. He's literally given me hope. He's given me optimism. He's made me want to go back into work. And now it's the weekend and I'm like, I cannot wait to go back to work, because seeing that things are working, seeing that there's like good results, it's like I just want to be there. And so yeah, he has been the best supervisor I've ever had. He's an advocate for autism awareness and just making sure that people with autism are not forced to comply to social norms, but they are allowed to be who they are, and we accept them as they are. The only thing I am a little bit confused about with that is I'm thinking functional. So like, what is going to be functional? Like the way that my client likes to play, he likes to, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but like say I give him these coins, he will sit and like play with them like this. And to me, that's not functional play. It's like that is how he wants to play with the thing. That is how he finds it amusing. But the thing is, I don't think he should be playing with coins. I don't think that he should be playing with objects that are not designed. Like, I don't think that he should be playing with, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the way that he likes to play, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think we should find alternatives that are as close as possible to what he's seeking sensory or what he's seeking for entertainment. I believe that we should find alternatives, because if that's how he plays with everything that's like small pieces, it's like, I don't know, like I just think about that when he grows up. Like, how is he? But, he explained to me that that's how he interacts with things. That's how he discovers things. That's how he learns things. That's how he examines things. And it's not wrong just because I think it is or it doesn't look right to me. But the thing is, we can give him options. So we can give him like these little dinosaurs. Where is it? Like there's these little dinosaurs, and he likes to put these in his mouth, and he also likes to take a bunch of them and like play with them like that. But we can offer him dinosaurs because I feel like dinosaurs are more appropriate. I feel like coins wouldn't be appropriate. So we can offer him, I don't know if this is what he was saying, but we can offer him the dinosaurs. But if he wants to play with the coins, he should be allowed to play. And I don't know, like I just feel like, if there's a proper alternative, that should be what is being reinforced, not I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how autistic brains work. I don't know. I don't know. And I definitely don't want to suppress anything. I definitely don't want to make him feel like he cannot interact with things as he wants to. But I definitely do want, like, him playing with hangers. He will walk around and play with the hanger and just like flip it around. And instead of playing with a hanger, I offer him his Chewy toy. And it's this like one of those like little spiral bracelets that like I cut in half. So like it hangs and it like dangles. And instead of playing with the hanger, I'll offer the Chewy toy because he likes to mouth items. So he can have it in his mouth and he can also play with it. And so to me, I feel like that is a proper alternative rather than a hanger. But from what it sounds like my boss was saying, it was like he can play with the hanger. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's up to the parents. I I don't know, but I've enjoyed working with this family. They've treated me like, not like family, but they've treated me professionally. They've treated me with respect. And yeah, it's like, I don't know. I love my job. I love being able to see his little face every day. I've learned a lot about behavior. I've learned about myself. I learned like the ABCs of behavior and how that is like a universal ABCs of behavior are, I forgot what the name, like what that is called. It's not data collection. It's technique. No, it's not technique. I don't know what you call it, but that system is universal. There's always an antecedent, there's always a behavior, and there's always a consequence. And when we look into those things, we can find proper interventions. We can find alternatives. And yeah, it's just taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about my work ethic. It's taught me about what I need to feel supported and successful. And I love this field. I don't plan on changing my field of work anytime soon. I thought about being a school teacher, but recently I was hired by another company, and they asked me to come in for coverage at their center, and I've never worked in the center before. And so I went in not really knowing what to expect, but from the experience I had, I just don't see myself. I just didn't like it. Like, not that I didn't like it. I don't want to do it again. That's what it is. It's not that I didn't like it. I just don't want to do it again. It was a lot. It was like I came in, I had to learn the client, kind of learn, what they're capable of, what they find amusing. I had to I had to talk with the other people who've worked with her and kind of figure things out. Then I also had to figure out the coworker situation, like who, like I kind of had to learn my coworkers, and then I had to also learn the other clients who were there because they would interact with my client. Like there was a big gym. And there was a swing that literally went from one side of the room all the way to the other side. And, my client would get on, but then other clients would want to get on. And their RBTs wouldn't be there. Or, like, they would be there. But no, like, their client would just run over to the swing and try to get on. And it's like, I don't know if I should be telling them to, like, stop. Or, like, I don't know. Like, it was a lot. And they also wanted you to change diapers. And I'm just like, no, thank you. I do not want to change any diapers until I have my own kids. I do not enjoy the experience. And if I don't have to do it, I don't want to do it. So, working in the center is just not for me. But I'm pretty sure, like, if I stuck with it, did it a few times, my opinion would change. But I don't see myself doing that again. But I've had the different experiences. I do like the ABA field. I would love to get my master's degree so I could become a board certified behavior analyst, because what really interests me about that position is I like the fact that they get to do the intake evaluations, and they get to spend that, initial assessment time with the client and figuring out what they're capable of, learning them, and then creating a treatment plan to enhance and work on different skills. I like that idea. I like the idea of having RBTs who I feel like would be best for each client. I like the idea of being a place of support and resources for the RBTs who I work with. And I would love, when I'm like 30 or 40 to go to school to get that and get my credentials. I don't know about opening up my own practice, but definitely getting hired at a company. I like this field. I believe there's so much more to learn, and it's very important. But yeah, that is my experience. The only thing that sucks, I don't know how different companies do it, but the company I just got hired for, they do like if the client were to cancel, I think they give you up to like 1 hour a day worth of pay if the client cancels. So like if you're getting paid $30 an hour, they would give you $30 for if they cancel session that day. Even if your session was like 6 hours long, they would give you the $30. But the current company I work at now, the company I started with, they don't offer any reimbursement if they cancel. And that was the thing when I first started. I was, the salary, I was making like double minimum wage, but the thing is the hours. I was only getting like 15 hours a week. And then when they would cancel, I would be getting like 9 hours a week. And so I went from making like $1,800 every month down to like $600 a month, $400 a month. And it was really hard until I got my second client. But that is one thing that like I didn't know about when I first started. And so, look to see if the company does reimbursement, because at least you can get something. But as far as coverage, like I don't know if like I don't know, but that's my experience.